The Torah says he anointed it, sanctified it in all its vessels, and the altar in all its vessels, and he anointed them and sanctified them. This happened on the first day of the month of Nisan, 1 year after the Exodus. So it was almost the 1 year anniversary, because the Exodus happened on the 15th day of Nisan. So this is the first of Nisan 1 year later. So it's like 1 year minus 15 days that this takes place. The Mishkan, the tabernacle, was built. Now you remember what happened on the day that the tabernacle was put up. Remember that was when Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, lost their lives? Remember we studied that together? So this is all the same day. We had a lot of discussion in between, but now we pick up the timeline of the story. So it's that day. It's that same day. Okay, so what happens? We have a donation. And this is what I was mentioning before. Verse number 2. The chieftains of Israel, the heads of their fathers' houses, presented their offerings. Basically what that means is the heads of the tribes each gave an offering and a gift. They were the leaders of the tribes. They were the ones who were present during the counting. As you recall, when the Jewish people were counted, so they were the ones that kind of were mentioned in the counting as the tribal leaders. Okay, but this is what they're offering. This is what their gift was. Verse 3, and this is where it gets important. They brought their offering before the Lord, 6 covered wagons. Maybe I should sing it in a song. 6 covered wagons, 12 oxen. I'm kidding. That's a joke. All right. So they gave 6 covered wagons, 12 oxen, a wagon for each 2 chieftains. In other words, 12 tribal leaders, 6 wagons. Are you with me on this? 12 tribal leaders gave 6 wagons, which means that each wagon, 2 chieftains went in on. Right? So they paired up to donate a wagon. 6 wagons in total, and they gave an ox for each one. 12 oxen, 12 tribal leaders, 12 tribes. So each one gave an ox and half a wagon. And the Torah says they presented them in front of the Mishkan. They brought them in, they rolled them in. Oxen, imagine. 2 oxen per wagon. Imagine these big wagons with 2 oxen in front, pulling it. 6 wagons, 12 oxen, and they roll up in front of the tabernacle. Beautiful. What a beautiful sight. Remember, what were the wagons for? Transportation, transporting the tabernacle, the pieces. Take a look at verse 4. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, take it from them. Basically, accept the donation. Maybe Moses wasn't sure. What are we going to do with the wagons and the oxen? God says, it's a good gift. Take it. You never know when you're going to use it. No, I'm kidding. But God says exactly what it's going to be used for. Let them be used in the service of the tent of meeting. Tent of meeting, of course, is a euphemism for the tabernacle. You shall give them to the Levites in accordance with each man's work. So Moses took the wagons and the cattle, the oxen, and gave them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons. So listen, remember there were 3 Levite families, Gershon, Kahat, and Merari. So the Torah now says exactly which families of the Levites got how many wagons they got and what they used it for. So here we go. Here's the breakdown. So 2 wagons and 4 oxen were given to the sons of Gershon according to their work. If you recall, Gershon's work was the curtains. They carried and transported the curtains and the tapestries, the coverings. So they got for all of those pieces, they got 2 wagons, 4 oxen. Great. He gave 4 wagons and 8 oxen, even more wagons and oxen, to the sons of Merari, according to their work on the direction of Itamar, the son of Aaron the priest. What was the family of Merari? What did they do? They transported the actual walls and the beams and the sockets, the heavy hardware. So they carried like the heavy stuff. So they needed, it was bigger, and they needed, more wagons. So for the curtains, 2 wagons. For the walls and the actual structure, 4 wagons. By the way, if you're doing the math, what's 2 plus 4? 6. 4 oxen plus 8 oxen is 12. You may have noticed that the wagons and the oxen are tapped out. All of them have just been allocated to Gershon for the tapestries and Merari for the walls. So what about the third family, Kahat? Verse 9. But to the sons of Kahat he did not give. No wagons for you, no oxen for you. Why? For incumbent upon them was the work involving the holy objects. If you recall, they transported the ark and the menorah, the actual vessels of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, and those items they were to carry on their shoulders. No wagons, No oxen, no easy ride. This is manual labor with the poles. I mentioned the poles of the ark. The other vessels also had poles. They were meant to carry it on their shoulders. Okay. We're going to stop right here, and I'm going to jump in. By the way, does this make sense what I'm saying? Yeah? The donation and what it was used for? Yeah. They gave 6 wagons, 12 oxen, and they went to carry the Mishkan, except for the vessels, which were carried by Kahat on their shoulders. Done. The Talmud, and I don't have the Talmudic tractate up here on my screen, but to share it with you, although I would if I had it up, but you'll have to take my word for it. The Talmud describes in great length how big the wagons were and how precise it was to be able to carry all of the different pieces of the Mishkan, the tabernacle. The tabernacle was pretty big. It was about 150 feet long by about 75 feet wide. So it was a fairly large. I think it was 150 feet. I could be wrong. Maybe it was. All right. I need to double check the dimensions. But it was fairly large. And there were a lot of pieces, a lot of walls, a lot of curtains. You need space. And the Talmud says that these wagons just fit everything. Down to the inch, everything was maneuvered, how they stacked, how they balanced things, everything precise. The Talmud spends a lot of time discussing exactly how the Levites balanced everything, to the point that it says that as the wagons were going, there were Levites walking on both sides of the wagons, making sure that nothing fell off. You ever pack a car like that, where you kind of want to put your hand out the window and kind of make sure that nothing is going to fall off your roof rack? You ever have that? By the way, there's a Jerry Seinfeld bit that I love. He says, every guy thinks he's a superhero. How do I know this? He says, because you ever see a guy driving down the highway with a mattress tied to the roof, right? So he's always got his hand out the window holding onto the mattress, because just in case all of that rope and maybe the bungee cords, all of that, maybe all of them snap going 65 miles down the highway, he says, I got this. One hand out the window. I got this, no problem. Right? If everything else fails, so every guy thinks he's a superhero. Anyway, that's a Jerry Seinfeld bit. But all joking aside, the Levites would walk alongside these wagons, pulled by the oxen, to make sure that nothing fell off the stacking that they did on top of these wagons. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe asked the following question. The Rebbe says, why couldn't they just give more wagons? They had to drive themselves crazy to fit everything on 6 wagons. Let each tribe, a leader, give a full wagon. Have 12 wagons and 24 oxen. What, they didn't have the money? What's going on here? They were being cheap? Why not just give more wagons? And you don't have to drive yourself crazy. The Rebbe says, no, it wasn't about the money. There's a very, very important message here. And the message is, if you can fit it in 6 wagons, so then you don't need 12 wagons. Then 12 wagons is a waste. Because whatever we have, we're meant to maximize 100%. Don't use things out 75% so that you need more of it, more 75%. Go 100%. The Rebbe says this is a message in life. You have ability, each of us. You have gifts. You have skills. You have talents. You have wisdom. The question is, are you and I using them out 100%? God gives us our wagons. God gives us our gifts and says, don't ask for another wagon. Maximize your wagon. Fill it up. Right? No extra space. No extra space. Okay, so that's first message. If God gives you something, max it out. And that's why, again, the tribal leaders didn't give extra wagons, because the wagons then would be 50% capacity. And that's not a good trend to set. That things should only be 50% maxed out, or not maxed out, 50% capacity. That's not a Jewish lesson. It's not a Jewish way. Okay, let's move on to the next piece. The chieftains weren't done. But wait, there's more. In addition to the wagons, and in addition to the oxen, they also brought an offering each of the first 12 days of that month of Nisan. So from the first day through the 12th day, each day had a gift from one of the 12 tribes. So what was the gift? The gift was not a wagon or an ox. It was an offering in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle itself. So take a look. Take a look at verse 10. This is where we're up to. The chieftains brought offerings for the dedication of the altar. For the transportation we read about, but they also brought gifts for the altar. On the day it was anointed, the chieftains presented their offerings in front of the altar. The Lord said to Moses, one chieftain each day. I don't want 12 on the first day. The tribal leaders shouldn't bring all 12 on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, on the first day of Nisan. No, let each one take a day. Day 1 is this tribe, day 2 is that tribe, etc. Each one shall present his offering for the dedication of the altar. So now let's jump into what were these gifts. Verse 12. The one who brought his offering on the first day was Naso, the son of Aminadab of the tribe of Judah. You may remember who was Naso. Naso was a very cool dude. Naso was the tribal leader of Judah. He was the one who walked into the Sea of Reeds. I mentioned this recently, I think. He walked in, the water got up to his nose, and then the sea split. He was the guy who jumped in first. When everyone was kind of petrified, kind of afraid, stuck frozen in terror, the Egyptians and the sea, God says, move, but where? There's a sea. He strides right in. So he got the zchut, he got the merit of bringing first. He represented his tribe, Judah, and they brought, on that first day of the inauguration, they were the first ones, the first tribe to bring their gift. Okay, and what was the gift? And his offering was, verse 13. So 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekel. That's a heavy bowl, right? It's a nice size silver bowl. 1 silver sprinkling basin weighing 70 shekels, according to the holy shekel, in case you're counting at home. Both filled with fine flour mixed with olive oil for a meal offering. So not just empty bowls, but bowls filled with more offerings that could be brought. Flour, oil, meal offering materials, fantastic. Just picture like a gift basket, yeah? You got some flour, you got some oil, you got a silver basket. Good, but it's not done yet. They additionally gave 1 spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold. So they gave a golden spoon. You ever hear the expression, somebody's born with a silver spoon in their mouth? Yeah? It wasn't these guys. They had gold spoons. The silver was the bowls. These were gold spoons. Now, in addition to that, they also brought animal offerings. 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 lamb in its first year for a burnt offering. 1 young he-goat for a sin offering. And for the peace offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs in their first year. Wow. This was the offering of Nachshon, the son of Aminadab. So a lot of stuff that he gave on that first day, right? You got the bowl, you got the basin, you got the spoon, you got the bull, you got the ram, you got the lamb, you got the he-goat, you got the oxen, the rams, more he-goats, more lambs, boom. You needed a wagon to transport that, let me tell you. Okay, maybe they brought the wagons with the stuff on it. I don't know, that's conjecture, no idea. Okay, now, that's day 1. Well, what happens day 2? Take a look at verse 18. This is going to blow your mind. On the second day, Nathanael, the son of Zuar, the chieftain of Issachar, another tribe, brought his offering. Guess what he brought? You ready for this? I'm going to read. Verse 19. He brought his offering of 1 silver bowl, 1 silver sprinkling basin, 1 golden spoon, 1 young bull, ram, and lamb, 1 he-goat, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs. Boom. Third day, chieftain of Zebulun, Eliav the son of Chelon. What did he bring? Guess what? A silver bowl, a silver basin, a gold spoon, a bull, a ram, a lamb, a he-goat, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, 5 lambs. Do you see what's going on here? They brought the identical offering each day. And maybe you're getting annoyed that I keep on reading it. Maybe it's bugging you, like I got it already. Yeah? That's my point. The Torah repeats it 12 times. 12 times it tells us what each chieftain, tribal chieftain, brought. And the question jumps out at us. What's the question? Just tell us the first day and then say everyone did the same thing. That's it. You don't have to repeat it 12 times. Just tell us. This was the donation. On the first day it was this guy. On the second day it was that guy. Third, fourth, fifth. They all brought the same offering. Why list it 12 times? Unless you think I'm done. Fourth day. Reuben. Elitzer, the son of Shadeir, he was the one who brought it. And guess what? Same deal. Silver bowl. Sprinkling basin. Spoon. All the animals. Day 5. And by the way, the reading ends here. Right? But guess what? Tomorrow's reading. Let me move my thing over here. The 6th reading, guess what? We pick up the narrative on the 6th day, on the 7th day, on the 8th day, on the 9th day, the 10th day, the 11th day, and of course, the 12th day. 12 times. Do you know how many verses this is? We're talking about, well, let's see. This ends verse 83. And let's see where we began. Verse 83. And we pick this up. Verse 12. So we're talking about 70 verses. 70 plus verses that essentially say the same thing. 12 times the same thing. So again, I want to share with you another insight of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Rebbe said, although each tribe and each tribal leader gave the same offering, they didn't give the same gift. Each gift was unique because it came from a unique human being. Although on the surface, looking at it externally, they physically gave the same gift, but they gave it in a different way because every human being is unique. I want to give you a parallel. The prayer book, the Siddur, same prayers for everybody. Right? You're reading the same prayers. Is it the same experience? Of course not. Because everyone says the prayers in their own unique way, with their own feeling and their own intention. Everyone says it in their own way, in their own manner. And the same thing is true with the tribal leaders. Although on the surface they brought identical offerings, in truth, every offering was absolutely unique and it was distinctive. And that's why the Torah could not have said that the same thing was done by each and every one of the tribal leaders. Because had it just said in that abbreviated manner that so did the rest of the tribes, you would think that it was the identical offering. In truth, it might have looked the same, but it was a different experience. This speaks to a Jewish perspective on individuality. Individuality doesn't mean necessarily that everything about us is different, right? Externally, things may look the same. Like I said before, when it comes to prayer, externally, we might be saying the same words, but internally, it can be a completely different experience. So never sacrifice your individuality, even in a similar context, even in a situation where people are doing or involved in this, allegedly, the same thing. Never seek or never lose your individuality. Recognize that God gave you a unique mind. God gave you unique perspective. God gave you unique feelings. God gave you a unique emotional disposition and spiritual disposition. And you can bring something to the table, to whatever experience it is, that no one else can. Right? You're on a hike. Yeah, you're on a hike. Right? And a bunch of people are with you. Your experience is unique. You're at a class. Everyone's learning the same Torah. Your experience is unique. You're davening, you're praying, saying the same liturgy as millions of people around the world. It's unique. It's different. Never settle for sameness. God loves diversity. That's a mantra I always like to repeat. God loves diversity. How do I know? Because God made diversity. Of course He loves diversity. If God didn't like diversity, He would have made the same thing. In fact, the Talmud says, and I'll stop sharing the screen now because I like seeing everybody. The Talmud says that one of the amazing things about the creation of the human being is that God creates every human being from the same mold. Right? Human beings are cut from the same cloth, so to speak, and yet each one is unique. That's how God wants it. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. Every human being is unique. I know when you bake cookies, each one is unique, but I'm going even further than that. I'm going even further than the cookie analogy. Yeah? Every cookie is unique, but how much more so every human being? So never settle for sameness. Always embrace your individuality. Respect the other's individuality. Love the other's individuality, because God loves and respects diversity. So, just to recap the two, I think these are two amazing ideas. These are like, each one is a gem that we could live our whole life and strive in these two areas. Lesson number 1 is never settle. Don't settle for 50%. Don't settle for 60%. Don't settle for 75%. Go for 100%. Right? If God gave you a gift, maximize it. Don't leave anything on the floor, right? Like they say in sports, right? Don't leave anything on the court or on the field. Go 100%, max out. God gave you a gift, you have an ability, a capacity, 100%. No empty space on your wagon. Fill it up, whatever that is. Metaphorically, fill it up, max it out 100%. No extra wagons, none of that. That's message number 1. That's Tal picking up. Lesson number 2 is individuality. They're in the fridge. Individuality. Never believe that just because you're doing the same thing as someone else, let's say Jewishly, therefore it's insignificant, or it's whatever, everyone's doing it. The way you do it is uniquely you. The way someone else does it is uniquely them. So let's celebrate our diversity and let's max out. Folks, I want to wish you a good Yom Tif. I want to wish you a good Shabbos. I want to wish you an illuminated Shavuot. May you receive the Torah once again this year, starting from tonight into tomorrow. May you receive Torah with joy and with sincerity. All right. Thank you. Feel free to unmute yourself and jump in. Don't forget, tomorrow no online classes. Shabbat, no online classes. We're back on Sunday. Stay tuned for all that wonderful info. And if you haven't yet signed up for the Yiddish course, I'm telling you, we have close to 30 people signed up for it. You definitely want to get in while the door is still open. Emory Professor of Yiddish, Miriam Udell, 4-week online course. We have people signing up from California, from Pennsylvania, from Tennessee. This thing is going viral. Literally in the first 6 hours, we had over 30 people sign up. So join me for it. If you have, share the word, spread the word. People can join from wherever. It's online, and it's going to be fabulous. All right, learn Yiddish. All the kids are doing it. Okay, good. So great to see you. A good Yom Tif. Everyone's good?
Rabbi, are we doing it on Zoom? The Yiddish on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not ready yet for in person. We need a little bit more time because we like to keep things close. We're not yet. It's going to be hard to social distance and learn. So this is probably going to be our best bet, at least for the next little bit, until we're able to meet in person, and hopefully that will be sooner than later.
We look forward to that.
Yes, me too. All right, everyone, good Yom Tif, good Shabbos. See you guys. Charna, sorry I missed you. Mark, I'll see you soon. Yes? All right.
They're saying thunderstorms, so maybe a little bit later. I'll have to see the weather.
Okay, I'm here. Hey, Charna, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm glad I got a chance to see you. All right, good. Sorry I had to run out. I was on this shopping trip that took me a few minutes late, but nonetheless. All right.
I'm doing now. Good Yom Tov.
Good Yom Tif. We'll see everybody. All right. Take care.